That was actually pretty good, Josh. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Football and Chill podcast. This is the fourth and final segment, which we're going to do a pretty quick recap of the previous pod, and then we're also going to talk about the future of the league and who the future faces of the franchise may be. So I'll pass it along to anybody who's willing to start off. Anybody in particular? Does anybody want to start? Or
Kate, go ahead.
with my thing on the future I think you have to factor in longevity. For me, that sticks out right away is Mahomes, in my opinion. But he's already been in the league, 4 or 5 years?
2017.
Like 6, I think.
Yeah. Like, to me, he's got 5, 6 more years before I'm sure he probably calls it quits. So to me,
he's got
like
10 more years, my guy.
He's got like 15.
No,
he's 27.
He's too risky. He's too much
27,
of an idiot.
so probably go to like 42, 15.
No.
His play style is too risky.
I think for me it's Mahomes, but I don't know if he will last long enough or
pause. Resume.
Who knows what the wife he has? My God, that's a different story.
Probably last 3 days.
Yeah, I don't see him lasting to be somewhere where it's the face of the franchise. But he could be very successful. He could win a Super Bowl in the next coming days and win a couple more, and then we're like, holy crap, he is the next guy. That would be my person that's next.
I agree. I think Patrick Mahomes, especially this season, this is the first time he's really had to play through an injury, but I think he's proved that he's got that dog in him, and that that he
19
exactly. In 19 he had some problems
and
too,
but they won it that year too. He missed like a month. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, he's proved that no matter how old he gets, and the older you get, the more you start to hurt, and the weaker you get, and all that he's willing to play through that. And so yeah, I think it's gonna be Patrick Mahomes too. I think Joe Burrow is gonna be around for a while too, just because of his competitive nature. And I don't know Josh Allen, that well, as a person or whatever, but he's definitely gonna have to change up that play style. I mean, I don't think that he's gonna be able to keep running like he is, and like diving into people and stuff like that. He's not gonna be able to keep doing that for a really long time. So he's gonna have to he's gonna have to change up his play style. But that's what I mean. Every quarterback ever, as they age, they start to become more of a pocket passer and quicker release and all that. But yeah, I mean, the top 3 guys right now, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen, I mean, they're going to be the face of the league. And then, of course, there's always going to be new guys coming in. But, I mean, if I had to choose one person, I'd probably say Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, so I agree with Kate and Josh. Definitely think it's Mahomes, and I think it's been Mahomes since he won MVP. Besides the 2 years that Rodgers, showed everybody who the real MVP is. But anyways, I think it's probably Mahomes. I think he's the best player in the NFL. If we're looking at the last, couple years, I think he's been the best. And quarterback is, it's always going to be the face of the league. And kind of like what Josh said once, if you just look at who can put the best team around these guys to be successful, and if you look at Kansas City, they're a really good team because they have a very good roster. So I'm going to say Mahomes, and I think Andy Reid, they take care of him very well. But question for you guys, after Austin gives us his pick, what other positions, like let's pick a defensive position and maybe like an offensive weapon, do you guys think are going to be the face of their positions in the league? Like future guys, not guys like Devontae Adams or TJ Watt, like guys that are up and coming.
Jay Jettas, Jamar Chase.
So
They're kind of already here. I'm talking about
before
like maybe even after.
before we move on to that, I feel like we're only referencing AFC teams, and I feel like somebody's bound to make an NFC dynasty fairly soon.
Eagles.
I don't think the Eagles do. I think they're going to be in salary hell after this year with a lot of
Usually
resignings.
Lions.
It's Green Bay.
It's definitely not going to be Green Bay. We've seen how their front office operates. They don't care about
Good
defense
point.
or they don't care
Good
about
point.
offense in the same year. So we'll disregard that one as well. The Lions do have a very young and hopeful team. The Giants do as well. I don't think Daniel Jones will ever be the face of the franchise, but
Give him some weapons. We'll see what he can do.
that's a fair point. I think it's going to be a young guy either in this upcoming draft or we're going to see a guy like, and I know this is going to sound extremely biased, but a young guy like Justin Fields. Not saying that he's going to. I don't think he's going to be. I'm certain that he's not going to be the face of the league. It's just an example. Somebody who's a first or second year who's going to kind of take a large step in the upcoming years. An example. Don't think it's going to be Justin personally because the Bears don't like operating to win with quarterbacks. So I'm thinking if I had to go NFC, it's going to be whoever the byproduct of the 49ers is going to be personally. I think they could end up leading that team for successive for the next 5-10 years possibly because they just know how to operate and win in San Fran. So if Brock Purdy comes out, if Trey Lance actually starts playing to the caliber of what his pick was, I wouldn't be surprised if either or ends up taking charge of the NFC.
Give me the Lions. I really like the. I don't think they're going to be there quite yet, and I think it's going to take a few years. But the only thing that I think they're missing right now is, they're missing a few pieces on defense, but quarterback. If they can hit on the quarterback, that's like the final piece. They haven't done that. Then maybe like a true perimeter number one receiver.
The Sun God's pretty solid. I think he can kind of develop.
He's a slot
it.
though.
I think he's pretty good at operating on the edge. I mean, he's done a
Yeah,
good
he
job
can.
of drawing the number one and still making himself a solid option. But they have multiple weapons. They have Williams. I mean, Jameson might be able to operate at a higher level too.
He could be a number one.
But going.
But
on to-
anyways, can you
yeah,
answer the question real quick about like
who the
one
stars?
defensive player, one weapon on
Who's
offense? Who do
taking
you
Tom
think's-
Brady's
yeah.
spot?
And not like a Jay Jettis, but like a guy who's on the rise, just like not there yet.
I mean, if I
Why
had
is
to go-
Jay Jett is not on the rise? I mean, he's a second.
Because
because
he's
second
already
year.
top. So that's what
he's already
kinda
top
going
three.
for.
Got you.
been in the league for a few years.
Give me
It
like
could be
give me Garrett Wilson. I think if
I
you
like that. That's
if
a
you
good one.
I think this year they're gonna sort out a really good option at quarterback, and I think he's gonna take. He had a great leap in the first year, and I think it's only gonna extend. And then defensively, I mean, if I'm thinking young mind, it's so easy to cop out and go edge rusher. So I don't really want to go with that. I kind of want to say
Corner.
I'm intrigued about Tariq Woolen. I don't know if this year was a fluke or if he's
Okay.
going to be able to maintain, but I want to see his kind of development and if he can maintain being a solid quarterback.
And Mahomes is your face of the league.
I went with Brock Purdy or Trey Lance. I think it's going to be one of those two guys, and I don't think it's going to be now. I think they'll end up taking the step in the future. I think the 49ers are an organization that, again, they recycle head coaches. They get great guys in. Under Kyle Shanahan, they're going to win, and they've shown it. Same with like Andy Reid and the Chiefs.
Okay, I like it. Josh, Cade, edge
Okay.
or defensive player, and then an offensive weapon.
Go ahead, Josh.
I mean, can we consider Sauce? He's kind
Yeah,
of already
yeah,
on the
yeah,
top.
He's an all
But I
pro.
think,
That's like
yeah, but I mean, he's
maybe-
still like it's first
the man
year.
was a first year, but he was literally the top
Yeah.
corner this year.
He's not on the rise. But I think as far as defensive players go, he's going to start to become like with his
Rodriguez,
nickname and
yeah.
everything. He's going to be the next prime. I'm not going to say he's going to be as good as Deion Sanders. That's a really hard thing to live up to. But I think he's a great player. I think he's going to be a lot. When people think about the cornerback position, they're going to think about Sauce. When people think about defense, they're going to think about Sauce. And then maybe as far as like edge rusher, a guy that's like on the come up. Maybe I mean I don't want to. Like as far as like someone who's rising, I would say Rashawn Gary, and that might be a little biased, but I think if he can get a few good seasons where he,
Yeah,
actually
he's been
plays
incredible.
full seasons, I don't see why he can't be like, I better watch my comparisons here, but I don't see why he can't be one of the top like guys in the league as far as edge goes.
So real quick, just to add on to that, so before Rashawn Gary tore his ACL this year, he tore it about mid-season. He was in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. He was right up there, a little bit behind Nick Bosa. So this guy is like, he's the real deal.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah. He had
and
like
then as
almost
far as like a
double-digit
wide
sacks.
receiver goes, I mean, yeah, Garrett Wilson. I definitely think he's going to be a good player, but I don't know. I don't think they're in the league yet. I don't think because I mean, with excluding like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, I don't see like a big like face of the league wide receiver that's on the come up right now. I don't know. Maybe I don't think it's going to be in this draft either, but maybe in the next couple drafts. But I think Garrett Wilson's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be like insane or anything like that. But I don't know. Hopefully, he proves me wrong.
Offensively, I mean, one that like really jumps out to me, and that's kind of is on my radar in a way, would be Pacheco. Someone that young,
like it.
In that system, I think is should I wouldn't say should thrive, but has the right tools there. I feel like to thrive.
Think he'll get the volume in that offense?
I believe so.
My word.
He's getting the volume now. Even when Edwards Hilaire kind of faltered, I think McKinnon has just become a very good weapon for them. But when it comes down to running the football, I think Pacheco is just the way to go. And I think offensively, he could be a very, I don't know, like in the talks of like when you go into an NFL draft, as in fantasy, you start to go Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, like those are the names, Christian McCaffrey. Like I think at some point you could see Pacheco being one of those guys as a running back, I think, in my opinion. With that high powered of an offense, getting a piece of that action to me is very enticing.
I like that. Yeah.
Defensively, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know like too many defensive like names in a way. I'm not like you. I wouldn't say I'm anywhere near you guys where you guys know defensive players. I would say I know the big ones, of course, that pop up on feeds and whatever else that are doing the most. But I don't know. Someone that interested me was Thibodeau. I think he's pretty solid. He could be just a very staple guy in the next couple of years, and maybe grow into something even more, something that we talk about more often. So,
okay. Honestly, I like those. So this is not necessarily my pick because I think he's already established himself as like a really, really good player. But I just want to give like a mention to, I think this guy's going to take over the face of like defenses in the NFL. Dexter Lawrence. I think this guy is an absolute freak. He's a monster. And just watching a lot of Dexter Lawrence recently, because I've been watching Jalen Carter, and a lot of people have been comparing those two guys. I've actually changed my stance on not picking a D tackle with the number one pick. I think Jalen Carter and Dexter Lawrence and those types of guys might be the future of the NFL. And then anyway, so that was kind of off topic, but I think Lawrence is he has potential like a Aaron Donald type player or a Chris Jones, but my picks are not going to be in the league yet. For defense, I am going to take Travis Hunter. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. Any of you
Cornerback
guys
out
familiar?
of JSU.
No, he's at Colorado now.
Yeah, he transferred, but
Yeah, so this
he's
guy,
a wide receiver and corner, isn't he?
and he's a returner. So this guy is literally like the next Deion Sanders in terms of play style. I'm not saying like skill wise, but he has so much talent for his age. He's gonna get about like maybe not the same level, but he's gonna get the equivalence of the hype that like Zion got coming out of college from Duke, because he plays everything. He's in the spotlight. He probably has 500,000 subscribers on YouTube now. I mean, he's gonna be a freak, and he's only in his going into his true sophomore year of college. And I think that when he gets in the league, he's going to just take over. And then I'm going to count him as a defensive player because that's his primary position is corner. And then as far as offense, I really like a guy. He's on the Jets and he's a running back, and his name is Brees Hall. And I think we got a glimpse of what Brees Hall could do this year. Average, I think it was like almost 6 yards a carry. And I'd love to see what he can do. The Jets add a real quarterback in that offense, and if when he's healthy, and I think he could take over as a top back in the league in a couple of years.
I think I'm gonna try to snag him in the second round of the fantasy draft next year.
Thank you, Josh. He's going to the top 10.
Yeah,
You think so?
He's
that's a stretch.
You saw his ceiling.
That's a stretch.
You saw his ceiling before he got injured.
He's going top 10.
Yeah, but are you taking him over Saquon and Christian McCaffrey and Derrick
Henry?
Henry?
Where Saquon's going.
Maybe over Derrick Henry. Derrick's getting up there in age, bro.
You're smoking that around back.
In my opinion, but
What? Okay.
I'd say maybe over Saquon and Taylor in my opinion, but not over.
There's a good
Henry.
There's a good 5 running backs that I would take over Brees Hall just because of the uncertainty. I mean, you don't know if he's going to come back from that injury and still be the same guy.
Valuable point. He is young though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad we're mixing in a little fantasy into this.
Of course.
Going back to the fantasy part of the fantasy football.
Yeah. What do you guys think of? Oh, one other guy I want to mention. I don't know if you guys have, and we'll touch more on this when we do, draft talk after the Super Bowl. This guy, Michael Mayer, the tight end from Notre Dame.
Dude's a dog.
That dude is a freak, and he looks like, I don't know if you've seen his picture. He looks like Gronk. He wears the same number as Gronk. This guy, I'm gonna find a picture real quick. I literally watching his highlights. I thought it was Gronk.
Him and Brock Bowers are fucking monster, but Michael
Brock's going back to college.
Everything. I didn't even know. I thought he was going out.
So tell me, does this not look like Gronk? If you just glance at him, let me show you a picture.
More handsome.
He looks like he'd be in the family, 100%.
Yeah, and he's an athletic freak. I want this guy in Green Bay, and all the mocks are saying that we're getting him. So,
y'all are gonna.
Yeah, he's projected to go 15th, and
everyone's saying no other team needs a tight end. We need a tight end. We don't have a tight end.
What are you talking about?
No other team needs a tight end. That's a
Robert Tonyan he's gone. He's a free agent. He's just kind of below mid.
I wouldn't say he's gone. It'd be very Green Bay of us to keep his dumb ass in the Green Bay.
Or Mercedes. They make Mercedes are receiving.
Keep Mercedes. I don't consider Mercedes a tight end.
No, he's a lineman. He's a 6th lineman.
All right. We appreciate everybody who can to stop in.
All right, later, Kay.
Sesh.